Hi, hello, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Cecelia. I'm working on a new story. That's crazy to say. I'm working on a project. I don't want to say it's a novel because the crazy part of my brain is like, oh, what if it's not a standalone and what if it's a series? So I haven't decided the format of this story yet, but I'm working on a contemporary project that is about a group of friends who are in a band together, and the band is kind of like splintering apart at the seams. It's coming apart. Anyway, today I am working on designing my characters a little bit better, a little bit more fully. I have a day off of work. I'm doing a lot of character development. I feel weird saying development because I think some of the development will just come organically as I start to do an exploratory draft or a zero draft or just little scene scenarios and exercises and stuff. So maybe design is a better word, like character design. I recently filmed a video where I walked through my Notion planner for this project, and I kind of talked through how I organized my thoughts to kind of brainstorm a little bit more intentionally. One of the things I talk about in that video when I go through my Notion page is the character profiles that I've come up with. I've been taking some notes in my new notebook. I love a good notebook. I went through and I jotted down some notes on anagrams, and then I did a little chart of my characters and the anagrams that I think they might be associated with. But what was interesting was every single character came up with type 4, the individualist, and just some words that go with the individualist anagram: sensitive, introspective, expressive, dramatic, temperamental. They really fear not having an identity or a significance, and their desire is to really find themselves and create their own identity. And that makes total sense. These are all artists, they're all musically creative, they're part of a band together. It makes sense that they would all be dramatic and thoughtful and creative and really put a lot of value on individuality. And so I don't know if any of my characters are really going to fall into that anagram very neatly, or if individuality is going to be more of a major theme of the book. But that was really the first time that I developed kind of off the cuff, came up with a theme. So that was fun. That was cool. Anyway, I did that. I did some questionnaire questions, more brain dumping rather than answering every single question I had, because I don't need to know every single question. It's just a way to get juices flowing. I did a little bit of mood boarding in Notion. I've been kind of thinking about it, but I'm ready for a really intentional day of character design, character development. For the rest of the day, I have 3 main things I want to work on. I haven't really decided the order I'm going to do them yet, so we might be deciding together. One of the first things I want to do is I want to really finish my character web. I started this last night. The intention was to do the whole thing today for this video, but I was playing around in Canva last night because I wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing if I was going to screen record, and I accidentally just did a lot more than I thought I was going to do last night, which was fun. It's fun. So I want to work on my character web a little bit more and think about how the characters relate to each other. Second thing I want to do, I really want to write a scene. I want to write a scene with all these characters, and I want to write a scene that is not going to be anywhere near my story. I think it just needs to be a scene of them interacting. I want to say at a coffee shop. I feel like that's a really basic example. Third thing I want to do is I really want to focus on character motive. Some of the characters are pretty clear to me, others are not. I want to sit down and figure out what each character wants externally, what they need internally, and then what is motivating them to go after and get what they want. Okay, so those are the 3 things that I want to do today. I'm gonna go pop in my laundry, and I'll see you soon. All right, I'm back. I just put in my laundry. I have about 25-ish minutes before I need to put my laundry in the dryer, but I also want to eat my lunch, and I don't do well eating and multitasking. So what I have decided to do for the 25 minutes I have, I'm gonna do a couple admin type stuff. So I've been reading Do not come near my food. I've been reading these 2 books, and by reading I mean I just started this one. I just started Story Genius last night. I think I read like the introduction in the first chapter, maybe the first 2 chapters. I think I'm gonna get a lot of use out of this. I've already read a couple of her like articles and posts on her website, and I think a lot of people reference this book, so I think I'm gonna like get some really useful knowledge out of here. But oh my god, it's very conversational, which is not necessarily my style. I have also been kind of picking my way through Writing Tools by Roy Peter Clark. I read the introduction of this as well, and then I've read maybe like 6 or 7 of these chapters. There's 55 different chapters in here. The thing I like about Writing Tools is it's not necessarily just focused on fiction. I think honestly this is probably more geared toward nonfiction. And one of the writing tools that I read yesterday is this one, Tool 40, which is draft a mission statement for your work. It talks about how when you start a project, you should always have a mission statement. Why you want to write it, what you hope to get out of writing it, what you want the audience to get out of writing it. I think while I eat my lunch, I want to work on a mission statement for this project. And it's just on like what I want this project to be, what I want to do with it, where I see it going, that kind of stuff. That will probably take me until my oven timer goes off and tells me I need to do my laundry. All right, go team. It's like the Kentucky Derby. Yeah. That was my oven timer, so I'm doing a laundry. That was literally perfect timing. I finished my lunch and I wrote a decent amount. Look at that. Perfect. Some of it is like, you know, off the cuff, not that great. And I have a feeling this is gonna change. Like, it will be really interesting to write my first draft and then come back to this mission statement and see how things have changed. I think that was a really great way to kind of get into my story headspace, to do some like really intentional long work for the rest of the day. It's about 1:15 now, so I'm gonna go switch over my laundry and then we'll have about an hour before I have to take it from the dryer. And what do I want to start with? I think I want to end with like the character motivation and goals. I think I'm going to start with the scene and then could always like end early. I don't have to write a scene for an hour, but I think giving myself an hour is a juicy amount of time. I don't know. I guess you'll find out. Stay tuned. I just wiped down the counter with the Clorox wipe and then put my hand in my mouth. Laundry is in the dryer. I have 45 minutes until I have to pick it up. I am gonna do a scene. I'm gonna write a scene with my characters. I hope the window's not too loud. It's like a really dreary, rainy day. And so I closed all the windows but one. Another thing I did on my lunch break was I opened Pages, the like Apple word processing app. I typically use Word when I write, but I kind of wanted to try out Pages as a like free zone, safe zone document, like a document that is just like character exercises, scene studies, scenes that I know will never exist in a rough draft. I kind of want to try out Pages because that way I can always access it on my phone or on like rare occasions my iPad. So I have Pages set up. I made myself a matcha in this cute little green mug. I don't think I want to listen to music. Oh my god. Oh my god. The last time I used Pages was in 2020, back when I still had a book blog. Blog goals for 2020. 2020 was actually also when I stopped writing in my blog. I wanted to write 50 book reviews in 2020. I don't even think I read 50 books in 2020. New document, blank document. We're gonna title this, oh, also, I finally decided on a working title for this project. I'm gonna call it Band Practice for now. Things can always change, but I kind of like Band Practice as a working title, so that's kind of what I'm calling this story. So I'm gonna do Band Practice. What should I do? Like safe, free zone, free space. Free space kind of sounds like the bingo. Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay, ooh, let's go. All right, let's begin. I don't know what to write. Got 15 minutes. I wrote a page and I'm about a third of the way on my second page. I started them at a coffee shop and then they ended up walking over to a park, which is interesting that there's already like movement in the scene. I'm trying to stay away from dialogue because sometimes I get lost in dialogue. I am stuck here now, which is an interesting place for me to be stuck at. They're talking about music and one of the characters changes the subject. I put Isaiah changes the subject away from music, and then I put a dash and I said he talks about, I don't know what he talks about. Like what could he, like I have a couple like interests for him other than music, but it's interesting that I got stuck at a part of this like little exercise where I purposely had this character change the subject away from the one thing that's tying them all together, and I don't know what else they would talk about. So that's just a good thing to note. It's coming pretty easily, to be honest, except for that like one little hitch. So I'm gonna continue writing for about another 15 minutes, I think, or at least until I get stuck. Okay. That's the right word I want to use here. I love how I'm critiquing my exercise. I wrote quite a bit. This has been recording for 47 minutes. The rain has really picked up. I don't know how well it's been picking up on the mic, but yeah, I feel okay. I I think that was a really good exercise, but I don't necessarily know how much it told me about these characters. Like, I feel like I didn't necessarily learn anything new about them, but maybe I should go back and reread it. Wow, I wrote 1,300 words, even 1,300 words in what, like 40-ish minutes, 35. That's actually pretty good. Granted, you know, it's not a real scene. I wrote in like third person omniscient present tense, which is actually kind of fun. I rarely write in present tense, but the way this just kind of flowed out felt natural, so interesting. Okay, I'm gonna go get my laundry from the dryer, and then I think I'm ready to work on my character mood board a little bit. I'm gonna pop over to my desk, and that's where we will be for at least the character web portion. All right, welcome back. You're really getting every angle of my apartment today. Now I'm gonna work on the character web, and then after I do the web, I'm gonna work on some like motivation and internal goals. So that's my tentative plan. I was just rearranging, so my notebooks are on the top here. All right, I'm gonna screen record me doing my character web. Is it working? Let me walk you through my mood board. So, what am I even saying? Let me walk you through my character web. All right, so here's my character web. I listed out my 5 characters. This gray line here is like their relationship on like a surface level. The yellow is their like external goal, like the things that they want in relationship with the band. Now you get to see my cat. I feel like in every video that I've done, you just see their like little tail come into the frame, but now you see my Hermie worm. Please don't touch that. You can sit here. Why don't you sit? That's perfect. I have a cat. Look at him. You are just so perfect. So my plan for now to work on this web is, because I already have like their want and their relationships, I want to work on their like internal feelings towards each other. This is kind of getting tricky because I like how everything is very short and simple and has a word, but I feel like emotions kind of bring up a lot of stuff, so I might have to do like a paragraph for each person. I don't know, we'll see, but that's my plan right now. All right, it's looking good. I just want to check to make sure I have all the superficial relationships done. And I say superficial in like a surface level relationship, not in like a fake way. All right, so I took notes on the relationships I'm missing. If I was taking a look at this, I have how Sage feels about everybody. I have pretty much how Theo feels about everybody except for Wes. Taking a look at this and trying to narrow down, because I've been kind of deciding who my main characters are. Like if I was taking a look at this map and being like, and taking a look at who I'm missing, it's pretty obvious that the 2 POVs that absolutely need to be in there are Theo and Sage, and if I even had to narrow down to one, it would be Sage. Like I knew that going into it. I'm like still figuring out how I want to tell this story. Part of the reason why I don't want to jump into a draft, because if I don't know whose point of view is important, and I also don't necessarily know like where the story starts and ends, then I feel like drafting intentionally is kind of pointless. But doing like an exploratory draft where maybe I'm just writing scenes out of order, not chronological, and kind of getting to know the characters a little bit better, then I can kind of decide who's important. Everyone's important, but like who's important enough to have a perspective. Yeah. Anyway, those are some of my thoughts. I think I've done as much as I can with this little web here. I'm really happy with it. It looks pretty good. This is why people make fun of cat people. Why people make fun of crazy cat ladies. All right. You are Hermie. Yeah, look at you. Oh, you guys are my favorite. Oh, I just love you. Anyway, I shredded the chicken and then I diced up some onion and pepper to put in with the chicken. Now it's on slow cook. It is almost 5 o'clock, so I probably have about 45 minutes left before my husband gets home. I think that's a really decent amount of time to do the last thing I wanted to do today, which is do some like motivation and goal setting for my characters. I just wanted to pop in quickly and kind of wrap up this video. I don't know how much memory I have on this. In the middle of the last clip, my phone storage filled up, so I had to really quickly move some stuff around. And while things were like downloading and moving into my hard drive, I did end up making this like cute little chart in my notebook of the characters' wants, needs, and then false beliefs. So I got everybody's wants down. I'm working on the needs and the false beliefs. Obviously, some of these are coming more easily than others. I think like a little bit of a crisis on like how big the scope of the story is. I've kind of known from the beginning that I'm biting off a lot, and I don't know if it's more than I can chew. Just for like context, these characters have been in my head for literally years, and because these characters have been in my head for years, my brain sometimes has like taken little tiny tidbits and have just run with it. And I've already, like, approaching this project now, I've already scaled down some of these like crazy subplots quite a bit. Like I've knocked out things that are just incredibly unrealistic to even begin to talk about here. However, one of my little like seeds of thought was that I could potentially do like a series and each character has their own story. But I'm realizing as I start to get into like backstory and false belief, I think one of my characters' backstory potentially is too interesting to put in this story. Like I kind of want to keep it for a separate story, like something else. I need to start drafting earlier than I thought. Yeah, I have to dig into some of these characters a little bit more to figure out like what their false beliefs are, what their needs are. Yeah, I think today was really great. This exercise here, but also the character web, really illuminated where some of my gaps are. Yeah, I think next steps for me are doing some of these like character study scenes, especially the characters who feel a little bit more murky to me, but maybe I should just do one with like every character pairing. That sounds like a good idea, and two, also kind of fun. So yeah, I am feeling really good about the work I did today. I'm feeling really like I have a game plan for what else I want to do with these characters this week. I also kind of want to get into like world building and like set dressing a little bit, and I feel like once I have the characters in the world kind of like under my belt a little bit, I probably could work on doing some like exploratory drafting. Yeah, I hope this video was enjoyable. I had a really great time filming today. I think being able to like film really held myself accountable to actually get some of this done, and being able to like talk it through helped as well. If you watched this whole thing all the way to the end, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you again soon.